Alright, so today it's suspension time. So you gotta pull off the cowl here to get to the bolt here. Then you disconnect the cable here and two up here, and I unplugged it as well. Gotta remove the tie rod, I believe the end link, and then, oh right, the ball joint, which is down here. Undo that, take the pinch bolt, and then you start whaling on this to separate the two. So here we go, let's see how we make out. Need a hammer. That was easy. Now ball joints. Ball joint. Alright, don't make the same mistake I did and pull everything before you pull the pinch bolt. Pull that first. Oh, what a workout. The reason why I'm saying that is because, oh yeah, okay, now you don't want to move. But this whole assembly, because I pulled the ball joint, it moves forward, it moves everywhere, which makes it more difficult. So, pull the pinch bolt, then get to the tie rod and the ball joint. Or at least that's what I would do. That's what I'm going to do on the other side. So now I've got to widen up. I'm going to grab a crowbar and try and widen up the split in the back here to take some of the pressure off this and get to whaling on this with my little sledgehammer. Wish me luck. Stick the screwdriver in the slot by the pinch bolt. Try a little bit and see if I can break some of the rust before I start hammering away. You can see it's separating already. There you go. So what I did was I popped that one first. A little bit of sweat. Popped that one first because from what I've read, that's the hardest one. Usually the pinch bolt's the hardest. Okay, pull the top bolt. There's the old one, and there's the new stuff. So now what I'm going to do is match up the old with the new. I also have new rubber bushings for the top and new bearings. Match it up and put it in, and then we get to do the fun part. Well, we get to do the back, and then we get to do the fun part of adjusting everything to make sure it's sitting pretty. It's a lot of work, but man, does it look good when it's finished, right? Have any of you guys ever done this before? Write down below. Let's get a little thing going to help other Beetle owners in the event that they wish to do the same. More information, the better for everybody. It's kind of why we started doing this thing. Okay, so I did things a little bit different on this side. On the other side, putting everything back together, the end link was very difficult to go in. So on this side, I just loosened it. I did not remove it. Let me show you what I've removed and what it looks like where we are. Okay, so like I said, you can see the end link here. I've loosened it, but not removed it. I pulled the pinch bolt and wedged the screwdriver between there and pried it open, just like I did on the other side. I disconnected the sensor. I disconnected the tie rod, and the ball joint has been removed. So now, it's time for the fun part of pounding away on this. Just a little bit of rust fell off. Now to the top to pull that top bolt, or not even to pull it, just to undo it because it's already been pulled. Solo works. That is the control, that is the coilovers that are going onto the Beetle. So now they gave some instructions. Disassemble the whole thing and then compress the, I guess you would call that the shaft, the shock strip. Compress that a few times. I think it says 3 to 5 times to build up the pressure because the liquid has been laying horizontal. So in order to get everything lubed, you compress that a couple times. For me, I've run the lock rings down to the bottom, put the helper spring, the regular spring, and then the hat with the nut. You're supposed to torque that to 44 foot-pounds. Then you've got the rubber bushing and the bearing that goes on top of here. And then you put that in the car, you put the nut on with the little hat that sits on the inside of the engine bay, ring cowl area, and that is torqued to 44 foot-pounds as well. So yeah, it's set up. Let's get it in the car. So the other thing is the new bearing. Put that on top, play with it a little bit, make sure that it's, smooth. And then you take your bushing, narrow side down, bigger side up, shove it in there, get that nut on top, and then we can get to adjusting. Well, not until the rears are in. So let me explain something to you to make it easier for whoever is doing this, wherever you're doing this. So what I did was I loosened the end link, but now that I've got the new one in, don't forget it is shorter. So instead of fighting, what I did was I set up the ball joint nuts, which I should tighten up now, I should put in, and then just angled the whole spindle and then just slip this in. So it's partially in right now. So I'll tighten the end link, put in the bolts for the ball joint, and then I will jack up on the rotor and slip this into the spindle and then put the nut and bolt, or the nut at the top, in there. Do it that way instead of disconnecting the end link. It'll make things much easier. My problem, your information. All right, I'm gonna turn this off, get this buttoned up, and then come back to you guys. It's a German car, so the torque spec is good and tight. Ball joints tightened up. Now I think I'll do the end link and then the tie rod. So I put some anti-seize on all of the bolts in the event that this needs to be done again. WD-40 for when I have to adjust those rings. So now I lower the car, put the weight on the wheels, and then I tighten that top bolt. And that's it for the front. Looks like it's gonna rain. Check over all your bolts. End link is tight, outer tie rod is good, ball joint is tightened up. That was it, right? Okay, let's get the wheel on, get it on the ground, and tighten up the top bolts. Whoa, well, that is low. That's actually a really good ride height for me. This side's a little higher, no? Let me measure. Well, I guess I won't do any measuring until the rear is done. And then we'll work on proper ride height and locking it in, because right now it is not locked in. Your crew run, 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 your crew run, run. In case you didn't know, this episode is brought to you by